Alright, welcome back to Hook. And we shall continue our... Oh, never mind. No song. And we start off in this cave today, which, of course, has a song from the movie. I really like this game's soundtrack. I like that it combined music from both the movie and original pieces that still fit. And, of course, we have all kinds of enemies and traps here to thwart us on our mission to save our children. We have bats flying back and forth. We have fish in the water here. We have eels jumping out of holes that are trying to bite us. We have snakes. We have quicksand that if we actually don't run through and keep jumping, we will sink and die. So, there's definitely a lot of stuff here trying to kill us. However, this level is fairly easy. And it's really difficult to get lost, despite the fact that they think you will because they post signs on the correct way to go. And I'm gonna go after that one up. It was worth it. Better watch out for him, though. I forget what those things are called. I don't know if they are stalagmites or stalactites. Either way, this level's almost over. Just fly up here, and we have beaten. We have beaten the level. Now we must continue on our adventure. And we now move on to one of my favorite levels in the game, just because I love the scenery and I love the music. That's a common theme throughout this game. I just love this game's soundtrack. But we now move on to the Ice Mountain, which, just look at that. Nicely done backgrounds, nicely done foregrounds, nicely done music. And as you just saw, the pirates that walk back and forth, they now have spiked shields, which means you can no longer hit them from the front. And of course we have the strongman here from Stage 3, except this time, instead of throwing boulders, he is throwing snowballs that get bigger and bigger as they roll in the snow. They still defy gravity, though. But yeah. This is a fun level to play. I haven't seen too many people's opinions on this, but I know a lot of people like this level. A lot of people like the music in the Super Nintendo version. I like the song in the Super Nintendo version. It's different from this song. It's its own unique song, and it's definitely really good. But I kind of like this song more. Even though this song appears more than once in this game. We're actually going to see it in another level we're going to play later on in this video. But, yeah. Those birds you just saw, they're nowhere near as annoying as they are in games like Ninja Gaiden or Castlevania or anything like that. But, and of course we have the tigers from Stage 4 as well. We got this apple here if we need it. So of course the tigers are going to be placed near spike pits because, why else? And of course this was a trap. Because they gave you a leaf in the last part like that, they're going to try and trick you so that you run into a snowball. But basically you're supposed to head up here, take this guy out, and there you go. Now we got a one-up here. This one-up is also kind of a trap, because once you head into this corner, you got this guy with the shield coming after you, you're going to jump, and you're going to take a hit. So it's hard to avoid taking damage there, unless you're you probably can get away with it if you're quick enough, but I'm not. Now we move on to this spot here, which is close to where the boss is, but this spot makes you pull off a jump that's kind of mean. However, this spot is actually a really good grinding point. Why do I say that? Because enemies respawn right as soon as you get off screen. And you can find a lot of good stuff here. I just found 2 1-ups just from taking out these guys. But because enemies respawn, that makes this jump a lot harder because you want to have momentum because it's a jump. However, when you go back to get that momentum, enemies are going to keep coming back. So you pretty much have no choice but to jump over the enemy and then make the jump, which is a little risky to say the least. But as you can see, I'm getting quite a few points from trinkets, but you gotta make that jump like that. Again, it's a long jump, it's a risky jump, but it's doable. And we now move on to the boss here, who's this pirate who, when I was younger, I always thought he looked like a kid. So, to me, I always thought it was his son, Jack. However, when we actually see his full body, he definitely looks more like an adult. So he's just a standard pirate. But his pattern is pretty easy, as long as you're not an idiot. But his pattern's pretty easy. He's gonna send these bombs after you, and you basically have to jump over them, hit them, and then they land on him, and he's done. And with that, the level is beaten. We have beaten that level, now let us continue our adventure. Now where shall the map take us toward our adventure, and we shall go and rescue our kids. It looks like we are... Oh no, the song's over. And we now have a scrolling level in the forest. And I have to say, once again, I love the music in this stage. Nicely done music, and I actually like this level. It's kind of relaxing in a way. Of course, the relaxing part of the level will be going away soon when we actually see what kind of enemies are here, but for the most part, it is pretty relaxing. That is what is going to make our lives a little more miserable. But they're actually not too bad. They're not as bad as they were in Stage 4. They're gonna hit you a few times, but trust me, they're not gonna bombard you like they did in Stage 4. And of course we're gonna go after that 1-up because we like 1-ups. 1-ups are a nice thing. I wanna be careful. Ah, shit. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And of course, remember, if you fall into any kind of bottomless pits, they are instant death. So you want to be careful of that. Whoa, can I squeeze through the middle there? Yes, I can. And of course, we have the Pan Sword. Like I said, the Pan Sword can come back at any point. Well, not any point, but there will be moments in the game where you are given the Pan Sword. Of course, it's the very end of the level, so we're not going to be able to make much use of it here. However, the next level can be a bit annoying, so the Pan Sword might be considered useful to you. That is, if you can manage to keep it. And let us go around the map to see where we shall head to next on our adventure. Ooh, looks like we're heading toward the Skull Cavern. And, yeah, I couldn't keep the Pan Sword. This guy is annoying. This fireball. Who basically, you have to keep alive, otherwise the level gets dark. And of course, if you run away from him and get too far away, the level gets dark anyway. Now, of course, if you can remember the layout of the stage, then you don't really need him, but beginners are going to want to keep him around. Even though he can be the most annoying enemy in this stage if you let him. Because he homes in right on you. Now, you want to be careful. Well, I'm down to like no health here. You want to be careful though where you drop, because this game is mean enough that they will let you drop right into spikes. So, of course, if you happen to have a little fairy dust, that's going to make things a little easier. But not too much easier. I would definitely argue that, as a whole, this is probably the most difficult stage in the game. With the exception of maybe one other stage, but that's primarily due to one room that you don't even really have to go into. But, I would say as a whole, this is definitely the most difficult stage. But, Actually, let me put it this way. It's the most difficult to navigate. It's not the most difficult to actually play and beat. It's just difficult to navigate. And it's one of the more annoying stages of the game. I love the music in this stage, just because I already told you I love this song. But I could definitely understand why people would hate this stage. Because it's definitely one of my least favorite stages in the game. And this was the stage when I was younger. Oh, thank you, full health. But this was definitely the stage when I was younger that gave me the most trouble. Just because, unlike the previous stage, it is easy to get lost here. Especially if you are running away from that fireball, which, of course, you want to because he'll home in on you and beat the piss out of you if you don't. But at the same time, you need that light to actually light the way for you. Now, I could go that way, but I don't think I'm going to. Because I actually know that the bottom way here is actually the way to the boss. However, we still have a ways away before we actually make it to this boss. This is actually a long level, too, now that I think of it. And of course, you want to have the light with you just because you don't want to make any drops that you don't know what you're falling into. Because, like I already said, this stage will actually let you fall into spikes that can fuck your life up if you aren't careful. So. But the key to this stage is to be slow and methodical instead of just trying to blaze through it. And of course, we have these annoying guys too. With these large ramps here for them to roll on. And I disagree with that hit game. That was a mean enemy placement. Luckily for me, I was able to react, but that's still a bit mean. Now, I'm gonna wait for this light here. Luckily, we have this particular setup, but it's generally a good idea to wait for that light when you see an enemy that's below you, because you don't know if he's walking in spikes. Oh, that's just mean. But you don't know if that enemy's walking in spikes. So, you definitely want to wait for the light whenever you see enemies below you. Because, actually, just right here, even, they were rolling in spikes. So, if you killed them before the light made it, and tried to go after those, you would have fallen in spikes. And we have this boss here who throws his head at you, and you want to hit him from behind when his head is not attached. This guy can be a bit difficult. He definitely gave me trouble when I first played this game. But, there's a couple things you can do here. You can hit his head, that'll send it right back to his body, and if you're quick enough, you might be able to land a hit on him. If you've saved any of your fairy dust, you can actually fly over and steal a hit. However, you're probably not going to have enough fairy dust to rely on it, so you still want to manage to be careful. And he already took 3 hits, but he's still alive. He's one of the few enemies that actually takes more than 3 hits in this game. One of the few bosses, anyway. He takes 4. And with no body left to attach to, he is screwed. But that's going to do it for today. And as you can see, we already see a pirate ship in the background, which means we are getting close to the end. So, next time we shall head toward Hook Ship. Take care.